Welcome, everyone, to the 8th episode of the All Stuff No Fluff podcast, a show where we talk with friends about the games and stuff we like on a monthly basis. So, going into this episode, we have a ton to talk about. October was a hugely busy month for video games, and the funny part is that things show no sign of stopping, really. So, we're going to get to all of that, but before we do, let me go ahead and use this opportunity to welcome and thank our lovely panel of folks that have joined us today, including a new person. So with that said, Trevino, why don't you go ahead and kick us off here? Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're all about.
Sure. Hello. My name is Alex. I go by Trainer Trevino on the internet. I am usually a content creator, video editor, and all the likes for different outlets like Zelda Universe, for example, Joe Zija, Family Jewels, Alex McCalla, all the likes. So yeah, I do the video thing here and there, and that's pretty much what I do.
Thanks. Awesome. All right, cool. Thank you for joining us, by the
Of
way,
course.
and giving us your time. On the rest of our panel, we've also got Amanda Van Heil. Say hi,
Hello.
Amanda. And we've got Yo Schiller.
Hello, humans. I'm Yo Schiller. I am happy to be here today. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, no, thank you for joining us. As I said, October was a really, really busy month, and to start off this podcast, why don't we just go ahead and go around the table and talk about what we've been playing for the past month, starting with Amanda. What have you been up to on your
So I've been
twos?
playing Metroid Dread a good bit.
Yeah.
Which I am very much enjoying. And I've been playing the new Animal Crossing update. And then I was lucky enough to get one of the N64 wireless controllers. And so I've been playing some Star Fox 64. And then I finally downloaded Mario Party. I haven't played it yet, but now I have it, so I can play it with you guys.
Oh my god, amazing. I was actually just about to ask you before this started if you had it, but I totally forgot. So that answers my question. Awesome.
Yay!
Did you you beat Metroid Dread, right?
I did, yes. I haven't 100%ed it because I haven't done like all the Shine Spark puzzles, but I've done most of them. There's just like a few that I'm just like getting frustrated and angry at, so I just put it down and started playing Animal Crossing instead.
That's a good way. Is it like all the Happy Home Paradise stuff, what you're doing?
Yep.
Oh man, I still need to do a lot of that. I played through like one or two houses for the first time this past week, and as a big fan of Happy Home Designer, I'm just so excited to do more of it. It makes me sound really lame, but I love designing houses for the
It's
villagers.
really fun because it's like I am terrible at interior design like in real life, but in Animal Crossing I have fun doing it, at least on the Happy Home Designer part, because it's like, hey, here's some things that go together and then I can make it look good. But yeah, in reality I have no eye for design whatsoever.
Well, because I don't know what it is, but I think you're right. Like, I love Animal Crossing's interior design process, and then I go to real life, and I'm like, I don't care what shade of white the walls are. Just put something
Right.
there. Jeez. What about you, Trevino? What have you been playing?
For October-ish, I definitely played Metroid Dread. I actually finished it, I think, by the first or second week it came out. Yeah, so like around that
Oh.
time. Like I was playing that game like constantly just so I can finish, just so I know I can finish it. And boy, did I get really angry a lot. But
That's how you know you're playing
yep,
it right.
yep. But yeah, I played that Metroid Dread. I played Mario Party a couple times, and it's super pure fun. Like I'm trying to get all the achievements and everything with the online leaderboards. God, it's fun.
Nice.
I've also played the Animal Crossing free update. I haven't bought the DLC yet. I had just been so busy. I just hadn't had time to do anything else. So I'm just getting back to like catching up on fixing up my island and adding all the new things and everything, and trying to play catch up before I take on even more stuff with Animal Crossing content, because there's a lot. But yeah.
Yeah,
And-
that makes
yeah.
sense. You're a brave man taking on the idea of doing anything to change up your island a little bit.
Oh yeah,
I have not
I spent
Wanted to do that.
I've spent so much hours in my game already. It would be a waste to just delete the whole island. That's like 300 hours of Animal Crossing playtime just gone if I were to do that.
Yeah, I'm way too attached to my island as it is.
Oh, yeah.
So the idea of changing it at all
Oh,
scares me.
Yeah.
What about you, Yoshiller? What have you been playing?
I've actually been playing quite a bit as of late. Let me think about it for a sec. I did
Sure.
play Skatebird, which is an
Dude,
indie game.
that
where you're
game
a
is so
skateboarding
silly.
bird. It's very silly. I enjoyed it.
No, I like it
I
too.
played Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania.
Mm-hmm.
I played more Super Smash Brothers because Sora came out.
Oh,
And
that
then
was October.
I-
Oh my god, that's so weird.
Yeah, I play that pretty regularly with friends, and I did a couple of tourneys, and I'm not great at fighting Sora, but Sora came out, so I've been playing Smash Brothers. I played the entirety of ActRaiser Renaissance. That came out of nowhere, and then I played it. I played. Well, we'll talk about this more in a little bit, but Nintendo 64 and Sega Genesis Online came out, so I've been playing a fair share of those games.
Nice.
I played a ton of Mario Party Superstars. And I got the version 2.0 update for Animal Crossing, so I'm back into recording daily content for the game again. So I just added that back onto my schedule every single day. I still have to record today's video.
Oh my
and
gosh.
then I am wrapping up Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity finally.
Uh,
And once that's done, I got to move back into New Pokemon Snap and finish that up so that can be done before the 3D Kirby game or the sequel to Breath of the Wild come out.
do you think you'll be done with any of that before Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl in less than a week?
I'm done with the main game of Age of Calamity, but in terms of doing all the after game, no. If I
Okay.
wasn't playing so much Mario Party, I probably still want to be done. Never mind, who am I kidding? So I just added Mario Party and Animal Crossing to the schedule. So
Yeah.
that's primarily what I've been playing as of late. Is Mario Party and Animal Crossing, but then between October and now there was also ActRaiser and Skatebird and Nintendo 64 Online and all that stuff. So I've been keeping busy. I don't know if I'm okay, but I'll be okay. I'm glad there's so many games.
Yeah, I am too. And just to kind of transition to what I've been doing, like it's a full-time job, I feel like at this point. I don't remember any point in my upbringing where there were so many games that I felt like I was overwhelmed. Maybe it's just because I had more time, but over the course of October, I did play Metroid Dread. I haven't beaten it yet. I'm taking it really, really slow and just, enjoying my time with it. It's my first 2D Metroid game, so a lot of the mechanics and like whatever about the game are super, super new to me. But I will say I'm really loving it. The visuals are awesome. The gameplay feels really good. And I'm glad that it's selling as well as it is. Like, what, almost 1 million units in the U.S. alone or something? It's like, that's really, really good.
Well, it's definitely a million seller in general, but the American sales, I don't think we know the digital sales yet, and I don't think we're going to until Nintendo's next investors meeting. But I think it was at 800,000 for opening week.
Yeah,
I
which
think
is
pretty absurd.
really good, as I understand it, for the Metroid series. So, big kudos to them and the team for making something really special. Other than that, obviously, I've been playing a lot of N64 Online, which we'll get to that here pretty soon. And outside of that, I've also been playing the Animal Crossing update. As I said, I just started playing that last week. It's really, really good. The only thing I'm sad about is I realize with the Brewster section of the map, you can invite villagers to the cafe to have coffee with you. The only way that I know of that you can do that is through amiibo cards, which are really hard to find at the moment, and I don't actually own any of them, so big sad about that, but it's fine. I'm glad that it's all here and it's all back mostly. And obviously Mario Party has been a huge one. I've been playing so much of that, and it's funny, like through the first weekend of that game being out, I was already max level, played through all the boards, and I'm just still like so hungry for more. And I'm glad that I know Amanda has Mario Party now, because I can add her to my list of people that I can invite to play at some point. That sounds really fun.
It was crazy. I got Mario Party, and kind of at the last second, I was like, oh, you know what would be a good idea? Is if I recorded every board of the game once with a different set of people each time. And then I did that, and the videos went over so well that I'm doing it again. So now I'm
going for a
recording each of
second
the
round.
boards a second time with a different group of people each time. I was like, wow, it's been a long time since I don't know, got a game, played a game, and like really, really liked it. I mean, I like most of the games I play, but the idea of this Okay, you know what? That's not true. I played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater at the start of the year, and I got addicted to that game. But otherwise, it's been a long time since I can think of a game where all of my friends have it, and we all just universally love playing it together.
Yeah. At this point, it feels weird if like I ask someone and they don't have it. So.
Right. Because like not all of my
everyone
friends
I know
want to play
does.
Smash because they're always like, oh, I'm not good at Smash. Not all of my friends want to play Splatoon. Oh, I'm not good at Splatoon. Not all of my friends compete in Pokemon. They buy it, but they don't want to battle or anything. But Mario Party, that's one where people were like, yeah, I'll play Mario Party.
Yeah, it's like last thing about Mario Party. This is like it's just one of those games where like anybody can pick up and play, and it doesn't really take too long unless you're playing like I don't know, 20 turns or more, and it's just fun. It's just silly, fun, chaotic, and almost every round that I've played with people on stream, on video, or even outside of that, has just been so funny. So I'm glad after all these years we have finally a proper fun Mario Party online experience.
Plus, we're all old enough to not get mad at each other when we're like being savage toward each other in Mario Party. Because I just remember being younger playing it, and that was like just you were guaranteed to get in a fight with your friends after playing Mario Party.
I don't know, Amanda. If we play at some point and you steal my stars, it's not looking good for my controller.
Well, the online
Fair.
component certainly helps too, because we can play without having to meet up at a convention or anything like that.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
like when I was younger and I would play it, like parents would have to intervene and be like, okay, we don't steal stars. We're just going to make it a rule that nobody steals stars.
Wow.
Funny. I remember when I was playing Mario Party, it was me and my cousins, like it was the original Mario Party. We were playing Keep Away, and someone lost, and then they were tossing and tumbling the other person, like physically, like they were going at each other, like
Oh
like
my
they were fighting in person.
What the?
Because the person A didn't want to win or lose, and the person lost, and now they got. It's my cousins though, so like they normally like fight a lot. So to me, it was normal.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so yeah, basically October was a really, really busy month. Now, to kind of touch back on the N64 stuff, that's going to be our next thing on our list here. N64 Online was a surprisingly, at least in my opinion, a surprisingly talked about topic. I don't know how to describe that, but it was
A
a surprisingly hot topic. Yeah, that's a good one. Amongst the gaming community after its announcement, and seemingly even up until now. And we'll kind of use this opportunity to just go around the panel here and one by one just kind of give our general impressions of the games of the service so far. And Yoshiller, why don't you go ahead and start us off here?
Yeah, so I definitely grew up with the Nintendo 64, so that's that's basically the game system that made me a gamer, right? So the idea of having those games on the go means a lot to me for two different reasons. Number one, it obviously brings the nostalgia back. The idea of playing a lot of these games again is just fun. I got a lot of Nintendo 64 games on Virtual Console. In fact, most of my Virtual Console games are N64 games. But the second idea is that Nintendo rarely ever re-releases their Nintendo 64 stuff. They obviously had no problem re-releasing NES and Super Nintendo stuff all the time. They had the NES Mini and the SNES Mini, and then they released like 500 Virtual Console games, whatever. But Nintendo 64, they only released, I want to say, somewhere between 20 and 30 Virtual Console games. And I get it, the Nintendo 64 is a game console that does not treat all games equally. A lot of those games kind of hang on by a thread, and that's why I didn't think they were going to do a Nintendo 64 Mini, and that's why I didn't think they were going to do Nintendo 64 games for Switch Online. I'm happy to be wrong about the latter point, and I will gladly still take a Nintendo 64 Mini. With regards to my time playing it, I played a couple of games. I haven't played all of them yet. I played Mario 64, I played Mario Tennis, and I played a little bit of Sin and Punishment. And I enjoy all of them. I think they're all great. And I'm very happy to have these games just accessible pretty much whenever I want to play them without having to hook up the friggin' N64 and get the AV to HDMI adapter and plug that into my TV, because nothing else is backwards compatible with the N64. So this is just a lot more convenient, and I'm very happy that it works well enough for me. The Sega Genesis part of it, I didn't really grow up with a Sega Genesis. I'm glad it's there. I kind of wish Nintendo would have split this up a little better, because if you buy the expansion pack on the Switch, you buy the Nintendo 64 games, the Genesis games, and the Animal Crossing DLC all at the same time. But
Yeah.
it seems a little weird to me that Nintendo would group those together, because I don't really think they sat in a boardroom and were like, dude, you know what Animal Crossing fans love? Sega Genesis games. Like, it's a weird it's a weird grouping. I wish I could have purchased things individually, because I would have just bought the N64 games and the Animal Crossing Online. The fact that it's all together, I guess, is a bigger deal. But my point is, I don't really need the Genesis games, but I guess if they're just going to be included anyway, I'll take them. You know? We'll see what
Yeah.
they do in the future, like if they're going to add GameCube or Game Boy or something, if they'll add that to the expansion pack, or if that'll be separate. And if it is separate, I think Nintendo's not going to have a great field day on Twitter. We'll just say that much.
Nope.
So,
But I
just
like
to kind of go back a little bit, because I'm curious, what's the deal with Sin and Punishment? Because as far as I understand, I haven't actually tried it yet. That was a game that was exclusive to Japan until now, right?
Yeah, so the TLDR is the game never had an American cartridge. Like, it was not released on American shelves. But
Yeah.
it was released on the Wii Virtual Console in America, which was the first time it was localized. The game has completely English voice acting, even... Everything is the Japanese version. There is no American version, Japanese version. It just happens to have English voice acting, but, like, Japanese subtitles. So, when they put it on the Wii
okay.
Virtual Console, they didn't touch anything. And it's the same thing here. They didn't touch anything because the menus and the voice acting is already in English. The game's sequel was Sin and Punishment Star Successor, and that came out on the Wii, and that was localized. In Japan, it's just called Sin and Punishment 2.
That's an
So,
interesting way to
Sin-
do things.
So it technically never released physically in America, and there's not a specific American version, but the game has been released in America just in general back on the Wii Virtual Console, and it's the same thing here.
Okay. That's okay. The only reason I ask is because I had like that, as well as the entire Sega Genesis catalog. I haven't actually touched those yet. I am interested in trying Sin and Punishment at one point or another, just because I have no idea what it's all about, and I'm curious, and
Well,
I might as well.
The modern day equivalent I can compare it to is if you liked the flying segments in Kid Icarus Uprising, it's actually a lot like that. It's like a behind the character rail shooter, but if characters get up close, then it becomes like a combat fighter.
What? Okay, yeah, that's
Pretty nutty.
That's
It's a
piqued my
product of its
interest
time.
enough.
Like Kid Icarus Uprising is probably a little smoother in its presentation, but
Mm-hmm.
Sin and Punishment, like, it's still cool. It's just a
Okay.
flashy game.
Yeah, I'll have to try that at some point. So yeah, N64 Online, I guess for me, has been really, really positive. Which feels like, blasphemy to be able to say that out loud, but I really haven't had too many complaints about it other than the price point. I thought that was a little high. But, I love Nintendo 64 games, and the ones that we have so far are really, really solid. And obviously the ones that we know of that are coming are really good too. So I know a lot of the big gripes for some people was how the emulation is treated in this instance, and as far as I can tell, I think as far as I'm concerned, it feels good anyway. One of the biggest culprits was Ocarina of Time, and I'm enjoying a very nice casual solo playthrough off stream and off video. So my general impressions have been really, really positive, and I can't really say too much negative about it. And I think that's kind of where my impressions begin and end. It's really just that I can open and close case. So, N64 Online has been really, really positive. Like I said, the only thing for me is just the price point was a little high. After that announcement, I was kind of scratching my head thinking like, okay, well, if I'm paying this much, I mean, I feel like part of me expects more bundle deals in the future, which makes me feel a little bit better about spending the money that I do per year. So honestly, like right now we got what is it, Animal Crossing DLC included with the service, but I'm anticipating that later on down the line we'll also get other expansions or DLC or updates, whatever, that are also tied to the service as well. So, Trevino, what have you thought about N64 Online as a whole?
I completely love the idea. It is a brilliant, way to, get people to subscribe. And honestly, I was on board until, the price point of like, ooh, $50.
Yeah, because you
and
haven't
then
actually bought in yet, right?
I only have the regular membership, and I only use it for online.
Okay.
So, I mean, if I right now, if Nintendo wants me to spend $50 total dollars to get the 64 and the Genesis games, I need a bigger 64 library than what we have right now.
That's completely fair.
To be fair, yeah, and to be fair, there are a modest amount of games right now that if you are a general consumer, then honestly, this is a good deal for you. For me, I've played almost every single current game available, most of them, so it's not enough to want me to commit to upgrading right now.
Yeah.
I mean, when I saw Majora's Mask, I was like, okay, now you're reeling me back in.
Now they're pandering
and
to
Mario,
you.
Yeah, and then we got Mario Golf, then we got Pokemon Snap, and then we got Kirby, and then Paper Mario, and then Banjo, and I'm like, man, I really wish all these games came out at once, but...
Yeah, if I may say so. So 2 things. One, yeah, I don't really know why Nintendo needs to slow drip feed these games. Like, they announced them, but you want people to get your expansion pack, don't you? So why don't you just have them there? But the other thing, I would just advise getting a family plan. That's what I did. You split it with 8 people, you're effectively paying $10 a year. I know not everyone has access to that, but I mean, I figured maybe you in particular could probably find some other people that are in a similar boat. I don't know.
Yeah, I need to ask around because I haven't really bothered to try that. But
I agree that the price point is absurd, and I got lucky with the family plan. I'm also covering Animal Crossing on my channel, so that's why I dipped in as quickly as I did. But I think if you get the family plan, all of a sudden it doesn't seem as damaging to your wallet.
Oh, absolutely. Again, it's just if you didn't have that option though, it's still a very absurd rate to pay for if you really want to play these games. Because honestly, I think your best bet would just be like getting a 64 yourself and hopefully find the games. But again, in this day and age, that's kind of getting harder and harder each year.
Well, and N64 in particular, those games are hard to find. This is a good way for Nintendo to back up the legacy content. The online, though, is a big push. I'm just saying, some people will spend $60 on a Pokemon Stadium cartridge when it can just come to Nintendo 64 Online and we can play Clefairy Says together. You might be missing out.
Seriously. Like, and aside from the current games that are planned, that are coming out post-launch, I still think we need to see some Wave Race. We need to see some GoldenEye, Bomberman, Diddy Kong Racing, Donkey Kong 64, Snowboard Kids for me, and just like that is a personal one for me. Banjo-Tooie, and Pokemon Stadium, obviously, and then the original Mario Party trilogy. I wonder if they would go that route. Maybe sometime after Superstars has had time to, breathe in the marketplace.
I have an answer for that because there's a leaked list, but I think we should give Amanda a chance to answer because I keep stealing her
I think
thunder.
so too. Yeah. Let's hear it, Amanda.
Okay, so as far as the N64, I've really enjoyed it, and I know the price point is a topic of controversy for many people. To me, I don't think it's expensive, but then I think back to how much we paid for those games when they were new, and considering we paid $50 individually for those games back in the 90s, it's not all that bad to me. So I really can't complain too much, and I haven't really had any bad experiences with it. I've been playing Star Fox 64, and it felt exactly like it did when I was 12. And then at the same time, I'm going, how was I this much better at this when I was 12 than I am now? I'm a little embarrassed at my gaming skills there. But I do really hope that they increase the catalog. Like Alex was saying, you know, Donkey Kong 64, we need that. We really need Diddy Kong Racing.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, because I love Diddy Kong Racing. And that was always one that I could play with, like, the other girls at sleepovers, because that was something that they would all want to play also. So, you know, it was a nice way for us to all connect and have fun.
Yeah.
It wasn't just me sitting there playing a single player while them being like, we don't want to sit here and watch you play this. This was something we could all play together. So I would love to get to play not Donkey Kong. Well, I would love to play Donkey Kong 64 again, but to play Diddy Kong Racing, and especially to get to do it like online with friends. Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. And I haven't really played much through the Sega catalog, mainly because I already have like the Sega, I don't know, Classic Mini, whatever it's called. I already have that one. So I haven't looked to see what's in the catalog yet, but I know Echo the Dolphin's in there, and that's really the only one that matters to me, that and Sonic 2.
I thought of you whenever they showcased that on the sizzle reel. I was like, oh my god, Amanda's gonna be so happy about Echo the Dolphin.
I don't know why I enjoy, like, I'm terrible at Echo the Dolphin. I've never even beaten it, but I'm just like, I see it, I'm like, oh my god, it's Echo the Dolphin.
I don't even know what that game is all about. I just know that it's a game that exists, and it's a silly thing that it even does.
Oh my gosh. Look up the history of Echo the Dolphin, and you're gonna go down the weirdest, like, part of it was based on, like, a true story.
What?
Part of it.
What?
I'm dead serious.
What? Oh my god,
There's, like,
that's hilarious.
yeah, there's like an actual thing that it's based on, which is really freaking weird. It's not stuff I want to talk about on a podcast because some of it gets rather adult and weird.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, send that to me. That sounds like essential
Yeah.
viewing for me for dinner later.
Oh my gosh. Like when I found out the background of Echo, I'm going, oh, wow.
All right.
Okay.
Echo's got some history. Got it.
Echo has some history. Yeah. And I just see where I definitely peaked the mic several times talking about Echo.
Yeah,
Just
of
a
all
little further
things,
back here.
Echo the Dolphin.
Another game I want to see come to Switch, but it probably won't. I want to see if Nintendo will be daring enough to bring back Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Ooh, should we use this as a jumping off point to like talk about future games we want on this service? Because that would be a really interesting one to have.
Oh yeah.
So there
Yeah,
is
so
a
Conker would be
rumored
cool.
there is a rumored list of games coming to Switch Online. The rumor stems from the way Nintendo has organized the games on the service. So each game kind of has like a numerical ID, so to speak. We know that there's going to be something in the ballpark of like 38 games, unless Nintendo adds more. But we know 38 are coming.
Which is a really good amount of games if that's the actual final count.
And something like Ocarina of Time is listed as game 37, and something like I don't remember what alphabetically is what comes first right now. But there's some.
Do you mean?
What's up?
Sorry. Do you mean 38 brand new games or 38 in total?
38 in total.
Okay. That
So
makes sense.
there's a spreadsheet that you can find where someone has figured out that the reason Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time is listed as game 37 and something like Mario 64 is listed as game 25 and something like, I don't remember what games are on the service right now, Banjo-Kazooie, let's say, is listed as game 2, is because these games go in Japanese alphabetical order. So based on that information, we can deduce what games would be coming to the service. So we have like 20 or so known games of the 38, and we know that like, okay, so if Banjo-Kazooie's coming, and Banjo-Kazooie is listed as game 2, but let's say Doom 64 is coming, and that's listed as game 6, then there's 3 games that come between that that would have to be alphabetically between Banjo-Kazooie and Doom and stuff like that. So based on that, people have deduced that Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2 are coming, and people have deduced that the 3 Mario Party games are coming. And then the other juicy part of this rumor is that GoldenEye recently had its trademark renewed in Germany, where it was banned. So there's a good chance that GoldenEye 007 is coming to Nintendo 64 online as well. There's a few things we can only speculate, like, oh, these 3 games, it has to start with one of these letters. So, like, Bomberman is probably coming. But it could be Bomberman 64, or it could be Bomberman Hero, or it could be my favorite, Bomberman 64 The Second Attack. We don't know yet. We also speculate, like, it's most likely going to be first-party Nintendo stuff. So we're probably going to get anything Nintendo's released and things that were released on Virtual Console in the past. But we don't know if Nintendo's going to have, Super Smash Brothers, let's say. Because that wasn't on Wii U Virtual Console. It's on Wii Virtual Console, but not Wii U Virtual Console. So we'll have to see. But because of this alphabetization stuff, we can make safe assumptions. And I believe the 3 Mario Party games in particular are all but confirmed because of that. Because there's space between, I think it's Mario Kart and Mario Tennis. Yeah. Oh, no, or it must be Mario Golf and Mario Tennis. So.
Oh no, I see 3 blank spaces between kart and tennis. They would fit in perfectly.
Okay,
in that,
so it must be Mario Party 1, 2, and 3 because it has to start with Mario, right? But we know Mario Golf is coming, but Japanese alphabetization, maybe that's somewhere else. So yeah, you found the spreadsheet I'm talking about. But
I remember we talked about
Pokemon
this the other day.
Stadium 1 and 2 coming actually really excites me just because of the thought of playing the mini games online.
Clefairy says, right?
Clefairy says, Lickitungs, Sushi.
Competitive Clefairy says. Esports.
The one where you're Magikarp and you gotta hit the little counter at the ceiling. They're all pretty darn.
The
solid.
OG Magikarp jump
That's
game.
Right. That's right. They're pretty solid. And also just doing like Challenge Cup random battles is fun too. I like it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that has its own whole ecosystem of things to do in the Stadium games, which is really just unique to them as far as my perspective goes. So it would be really nice to be able to have all that functionality built for a platform that basically just takes the existing games as they were and, adds the online functionality to them, which, for better or worse, because in some scenarios it works better than others. Like I know, just because I know you're here, Yoshola, you and I were playing Mario Tennis not too long ago, and the overall experience was generally good. It wasn't
lagged
perfect
at times, and that's the consequences of having 4 people connect to one person's game.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate the audio stutters. I have to admit that sucks. But we didn't have any, horrendous connection experiences. It wasn't playing at like 2 frames a second. It was just we were playing the game, and every once in a while, instead of playing at 60 frames per second, it would drop down to 54 for like a second or 2, and then it would go right back up. It was like it was intermittent. It is noticeable, but for the most part, it functioned well enough for me to continue enjoying our play session. Like I bothered to upload the video. If it wasn't good enough, I wouldn't have uploaded a video of us playing Mario Tennis. I'd be like, oh man, the audio stutters so much. This isn't audible. Like this is awful. So
Yeah.
I thought it was fine. I do admit that the audio stuttering is very distracting and very obnoxious, but again, I think that's just the consequences of it having 4 players connecting instead of just 2. So
That's right. I mean, between that and what Amanda was saying earlier about the games were X amount of dollars when they were originally released, that's kind of what excites me the most and makes me feel the most value, I guess, for lack of a better word, about the whole expansion pack thing, and any future games coming to the service as well. So having all of these games at a flat rate and being able to play them online is just really, really exciting for me. And I know we that spreadsheet we were just talking about, we talked about together, and I think someone else was there too. I don't remember who. We were all talking about that, and at the end of the day, isn't it just still like rumor mill? Nothing's confirmed. Like that kind of bucket that's in at the moment, right?
bucket, you say?
Bucket.
That's what you said.
Yeah. Wait, what? Was I not supposed to say bucket?
No, it's like I've never heard the phrase "that rumor mill bucket" before.
Well, like when it. What is that? No, like you take this thing that I said and you put it in that bucket. That's where you would categorize it, right? Categorize is probably a more colloquial
Okay.
term.
All right. I understand now. Okay.
So yeah,
funny.
I don't know. As far as future games go, though, I think Pokemon Stadium would really definitely get a rise out of me. I think Banjo-Tooie would as well, to kind of diverge away from multiplayer style games.
Sure.
And then to kind of veer back into it, I think GoldenEye would also be just really, really cool. And I think out of the entire list of games that we saw on that list is probably one of the bigger titles on there, because I know it's a huge classic for a lot of people, and surprisingly enough, for somebody that plays as many video games as much as I do, I never actually played GoldenEye. And the reason for that is because it was rated M and I was too young. So it would be an interesting opportunity for me to be able to actually play GoldenEye for the first time on like N64, almost N64 hardware, right? Because I have the controller too. So as close as I could possibly get to actually to not having to get the real thing. So I think that could be really cool. And just overall, I don't know. I get the warm fuzzies about N64 Online, being able to see all these games again and see some genuine, fresh, new takes and opinions and impressions on some of the games that I've been playing basically all my life. So it's been really, really nice. And yeah, and as much as I could gush about N64 Online for the rest of the night, does anybody else have anything else before we move on to our next topic here? About
I mean, I never played GoldenEye either, so I'm excited to play it for the first time if I get the chance to.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
haven't
God.
played GoldenEye.
wait, no way. The whole Trevino, have you played GoldenEye?
I played a little bit as a kid with one of my cousins.
Okay, you had the
Yeah.
cool parents. Got it.
I did. I did.
I feel like my parents would have gotten it for me, but for some reason I was like, oh no, I don't think I can get it because I'm not old enough. Even though I know good and well my parents would have gotten me a GoldenEye game. They've been like, it's James Bond, it's fine.
So you had the notion in your head that you were like, yeah, they won't. But then, I don't know. There was an alternate
Yeah,
universe
it's
where you
so
didn't.
dumb because like I know they would have let me play it because they wouldn't have been like, they would have just been like, oh yeah, James Bond game, yeah sure, that'll be fun, that'll be cute.
Yeah,
It'd be cute.
Cute is a funny word to describe GoldenEye. Okay, cool. Well, I guess whenever that comes out, we should all do like 4-player or something, because I've never played it.
Yeah,
I've heard it's
I'd be
really
down.
fun.
That would be so much fun.
Yeah, especially like I've heard so many great things about the multiplayer, and I'm excited to see what it's
too.
all about. So anyway, N64 Online, I've had a really, really good time, and I'm excited to beat Legend of Zelda again and see all the future games that are coming to the service eventually as well. Hopefully that 38 number is close to the actual ballpark of what we're going to be looking at. And hopefully we don't have to wait until like 2024 for all those games to come out. Anyway, transitioning to our next topic here, looking forward a little bit, we've talked a lot about the stuff that's come in October, but we are recording this podcast now as of November 13th. It is a Saturday evening, a cool Saturday evening. So we just got confirmation today that on, I believe, Tuesday, anybody in here could feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff Keighley announced today that on Tuesday, I believe, the Game Awards is going to be announcing their candidates for Game of the Year for December's show. So come December, and the next time we record this podcast, we will already know the results of the Game Awards, who wins Game of the Year, which game gets slandered on Twitter because it won Game of the Year for some reason, and all that other fun stuff. But for now,
I
what's up?
freaking hope there's a best shooter category and new Pokemon Snap is in it. That is my hope.
Yes.
Please.
wait.
Please.
Oh, I love it. That's the most chaotic thing you could have thought just now. Man, I hope so too.
I love that so much.
When they announce that, okay, and they're like, here are our options for best shooter. You better believe I'll go on Twitter and be like, where's new Pokemon Snap?
Yeah, you'll be
Yeah.
the
Although
one
I
dude
imagine
upset
I'm not
in
going to be the only
comments.
person with that joke. I imagine there will be a lot of other people doing the same thing, and then they'll say, yo, Schiller, you ripped off this person. So that's why I'm saying it on this podcast.
Yeah,
we
so
beat
you
them
have an
to it.
archive to go back to.
Yeah. This is my joke. I own this joke. I said it first.
No one else thought
Joe-
this at all.
Joe claimed.
Yeah.
You can't have it.
This is my
So,
meme.
since we are recording this on Saturday, and this coming week is when these candidates will be announced, I wanted to kind of get everyone's I honestly already know what Amanda's going to say, but I wanted to go around the table and get everyone's opinions on what do you think will be the... They usually do like 5 or so, right? 5 or so candidates for Game of the Year? Something like that?
6.
Okay,
I think
6.
6.
All right, I was close. So 6. And go around the table and just get a couple of picks from you guys as to what you think might show up in this Game of the Year collection and what you think might win out of that potential 3. So, starting with you, Schiller, what do you think is gonna be on that list?
Yeah, putting me on the spot, huh? You know, I used to
Yep.
be a lot more involved knowing what games came out for each system. That was primarily the case when I worked for the Completionist, just because we had to basically monitor everything that came out. But since I
Yeah.
don't work for him anymore, I've obviously kind of closed my vision, so to speak, and I've been primarily focusing on Nintendo stuff. With regards to stuff that I guess isn't Nintendo, I know Resident Evil 8 came out and people liked it.
yeah,
I
that
don't
was
know
so
if that's
good.
a Game of the Year contender. It might be.
It could be.
Otherwise, there was what the Forza game. I think
Forza
I think,
Horizon.
but I don't know if
Horizon
that's Game
5.
of the Year material either. But I'm
Well,
trying
would
to
that
go off
be-
of like what I see people talking about on my Twitter timeline. So if I may go with the Nintendo route, and then I'll try to go back into the third party stuff. So the
Yeah.
Nintendo's big games this year. At the beginning of the year, we had Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. I don't think that's going to go for Game of the Year. I love
I
that
don't
game.
think so.
I just don't think it's going to be nominated.
Yeah.
We had new Pokemon Snap come out in May. I don't think that's going to be nominated for Game of the Year.
Yeah, same.
And then we had Monster Hunter Rise come out this year, didn't we?
we did.
did.
We
That
did.
might be nominated for Game of the Year. I keep
I
feeling
think
I keep feeling like that's a 2020 game. It keeps psyching me out. Okay, that might get nominated.
Yeah.
I think it's a good assumption that Monster Hunter Rise will be nominated for something at least.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If-
for sure.
If not Game of the Year.
Yeah, I'm kind of like eyeballing my game collection in the corner. I'm like, what else came out? Okay, there was Mario Golf. I don't think that's gonna get nominated.
No.
We got Mario Party Superstars. I don't think that's gonna get nominated. We got Metroid Dread. That might get
That-
nominated.
Mhm.
Yep.
I know
Yep.
people really sung their praise about that game. I don't have it myself. It looks awesome. I saw a lot of people talk about it. We're kind of moving on to the next game already, but Metroid Dread definitely made its mark. That might get nominated. So in
Okay.
terms of the Nintendo games, then it's probably going to be Monster Hunter Rise and Metroid Dread. Those are probably the two, right?
Yeah.
Oh, there's also WarioWare. That might get nominated for like best family game, but probably not Game of the Year.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, third party stuff.
I hate to say. Sorry.
No,
go
good.
ahead,
What
go
you
ahead.
got?
I was gonna say I hate to say it, but most Nintendo games will be in the family awards section for the game
I'm
awards.
pretty sure in 2019 every game was Nintendo Switch oriented. And I think Jeff
That's
Keighley
true.
even made a joke when he was reading off the thing saying, "Seems like so Nintendo's pretty much got this one in the bag." Yeah, the issue I have with the Game Awards, if I may throw this in here, it really shouldn't be called the Game Awards because it's not really an award show anymore. I'm obviously going to watch it because I want to see the announcements, and I imagine that's why most people are going to watch it. But the actual award show part of it really needs a rebranding. It really should just be called, like, Jeff Keighley's Game Ceremony. Something like that. But, okay.
Key 3
Key-
instead of E3.
Keighley.
Key-
Key 3.
How about Keighley Threely? All right.
I like it. Keely 3.
I'm trying to think of like more third-party stuff that came out because I know Resident Evil came out. Okay, Monster Hunter's third-party, I guess, and I know Forza came out. I know there's other stuff that came out. I'm so
Here,
I'm
I got you.
so narrow-minded. I'm trying to
We-
think of like what else. Oh,
We
there was Tales of
we-
Arise, I guess. I remember because Namco had a booth at PAX West, and they were like the only big game company there. Aside
Yeah.
from that, I don't know what other third-party games are coming out. I'm sorry.
we
It's all right.
we-
I got you.
we ha-
I'm
we
a
ha-
big gamer.
Okay, go ahead.
So, I mean, I say that in joke, but I also, it's funny because not really. I do a lot of Nintendo stuff on the internet, which leads people to believe that that's all I play. But truth be told,
Same.
ever since I had my own money to spend on consoles that I like and want, I've kind of just played everything. So I have a pretty wide pool. Not as wide as I'd like, because due to time constraints. But anyway,
I feel like real quick. I feel like I would have known more games that were coming out if I went to a lot of conventions this year, because that's usually how I can tell.
Right.
When I go to these conventions, I'm like, oh, what was the big Square Enix game? What was the big Microsoft game? But I don't know anymore.
Yeah. So
Sorry, go ahead.
Anyway,
Sorry.
here we go. So Resident Evil is a good one.
Okay.
I loved Resident Evil Village. It was great. It was an awesome return to form for the series. It's not quite where it was yet as far as scary horror, but I still really, really liked it. And obviously, Lady Dimitrescu took over the internet for a good solid month or two there, which was also just hilarious. So Resident Evil Village has the possibility, right? But we also had a game, like I haven't personally played yet, but I want to, called Deathloop.
Oh, yeah!
Which looked really, really good. It's reviewed really, really well as well, which is a pretty good indicator that it's probably at least in the talks of being a candidate for Game of the Year. I also know that Ratchet and Clank, the new Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart specifically, reviewed really, really well. That is another game that I haven't had the time to play yet, but gosh, I really, really want to. I don't know if I want to though, because I've never played another Ratchet and Clank game. So. Wait.
You don't need to.
I was gonna say, didn't you
played it.
play
It's
that?
really
Yeah,
fun.
I watched you play a little bit of that. Oh my god, do you think that would be Game of the Year material?
It's definitely going to get nominated for at least Family Game. Just the design of it is so fun. It's just a fun game. I don't know that it's full-on Game of the Year material because it's a very short game.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just fun and it's cute and it's beautiful on the PS5.
See, my line of thinking with it is that specifically when it comes to the Rift mechanics, the reason why I feel like it would make sense to at least have it considered as Game of the Year is that it's a really, really good showcase at what
It is.
next-gen
Absolutely.
gaming looks like, right? Because a lot of that takes advantage of the PS5 solid-state drive, which is really, really fast at loading certain scenes and bringing in worlds a lot quicker than you would be able to technically in stuff prior. So
Yeah.
that's my line of thinking when it comes to adding that to the list. You've also got, as far as Nintendo is concerned, Metroid Dread is obviously one that I feel like would be at least deserving of the conversation of adding to the Game of the Year list. I haven't actually completed it all the way through, but
It'll probably get nominated, but I sadly don't think it's gonna win.
I don't think it'll win either, but I do, like, even just seeing it nominated would be enough to make me feel warm and fuzzy inside, you know?
Sure.
So I haven't played it all the way through, but I can tell just, you once you pick it up and play it, you can tell, like, oh, man, this is really, really well made. And just obviously from the conversation we saw over the last month about the game, you could tell that there's a lot of positive feedback about that game to be had as well. Outside of those, I think Returnal is also another one that has a possibility of being on Game of the Year considerations as well. I would also, just to kind of pivot back to Nintendo related stuff, say that I'm, and you guys can correct me on this if I'm wrong, but I'm not exactly sure what the eligibility is, but Shin Megami Tensei 5? Maybe?
See, now I thought about that for a sec, but I think because it just came out, it might not qualify.
See, what is the period of eligibility for that then? Because if Metroid Dread is getting considered, it's got to be pretty close.
What's the period of eligibility? I don't know about an exact date, but the fact that a game came out like a week before they're going to say the nominee is probably means it's not going to be nominated.
Yeah. Okay, well, either way, those are the ones that I'm thinking of that are just like the biggest games that I can think in my mind over the past year, which is funny because there's a lot of great games that have come out over the year, but there's not really very many that I can think of in comparison to years prior that I can immediately think of in my head as like, oh yeah, that's Game of the Year material. So
Oh, wait, when did Spider-Man Miles Morales come out? Is that 2020 or is that this year?
that was 2020.
I think
Okay, never
it's
mind.
2020.
Never mind then. Sorry, I'm getting them all mixed up now. Never mind. Okay, so that won't be nominated. Got it.
Spider-Man again.
Well, yeah, I mean, those games, I say those games like there's multiple. That and Miles Morales are pretty darn solid.
Yeah. What about you, Amanda?
So I of course want Metroid Dread to be nominated, and I think there is a very solid chance it will, because it's just a really good game, and it's led so many people to Metroid, and just it's really just a pretty game, even like the really scary moments. You made up some good points about Ratchet and Clank, how it really showcases what the PS5 can do, and I didn't think about that, and that alone would be, I could see it getting Game of the Year. It's definitely going to get nominated for some stuff. I don't know what all it's going to get nominated for. It's a fun game. I want it to do well for sure. Resident Evil Village is definitely going to be on there. I imagine Monster Hunter. I don't know what else. Pokemon Snap's going to get Best Family Game for sure.
Unless they throw in Mario Golf or Mario Party, because those might win.
Ooh, Mario Party. would
Really?
be-
Mario Party.
What it's gonna come
Possibly
down.
could.
What it's gonna come down to, Amanda. I'm
Yeah.
sorry I have to say this following sentence. It's gonna come down to whether or not our votes actually matter, or if it's picked from the get-go.
You've got a fair point there.
I'm sorry to say that. If the votes actually matter, I don't think people are gonna vote for New Pokemon Snap as Best Family Game. I think they'll vote for a Mario game over it.
Yeah, they probably will.
There's no way Jeff Keighley would play me like that.
I don't know.
Seeing how people are just responding to Mario Party, I think if Mario Party is nominated for anything, it has a good chance of,
Yeah, and see, that's the other thing, is that has recency bias. Because, and look, I love it. And maybe comparatively, maybe I do like it more than New Pokemon Snap and Mario Golf and all that. Maybe you're right. But also, Super Mario 3D World is one of the best friggin' games I've ever played. And they put that on Switch with online and added a separate single-player campaign to it. But because it came out in February, people are going to be like, oh, you know what, though? Mario Party's more relevant.
I think it's going to be that compounded with the fact that it's a Wii U re-release in a lot of people's eyes.
People are going to argue that it's a 2020 it's a 2013 game, so it doesn't count.
It's still one of the best games I've ever played.
I'm not saying. I'm saying honestly, I would still vote for it personally, because they added a whole new section to the game.
Mm.
But actually, speaking of which, go ahead, man. If you're still, sorry. Amanda, if you're still gonna say stuff.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
No, I was pretty much done because I went over the ones that we were
Okay.
pretty much talking about.
Oh, I thought of another game. I don't know how well it did,
Okay.
but I remember it made the rounds a lot. How did
Okay.
Far Cry 6 do?
Oh. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's gonna get nominated for best voice acting.
Okay, well that's fair. I'll give it
Sure.
that. I don't know if people enjoyed the game or not. I know Far Cry has historically done well, hence why there's 6 of them. But I remember because they were sending emails to people saying, "We noticed you stopped playing Far Cry 6. Aren't you gonna finish the mission?" And that's how I remember it. Yeah, and I saw advertisements for it all over the place. I don't know if it's Game of the Year worthy though. I don't actually know what the reviews of it are.
Wait a minute.
I don't know anything about it. I've never played a Far Cry game. I was wanting to play this one just because of the acting,
Yeah.
but
I know Far
that's
Cry
really
because
all
I
I know about
edited
it.
episodes of The Completionist, and it's cool. It's your typical shooter, but at least Far Cry 3 is the one I edited. There's a little bit of a survival element to it, and there's unlockables and stuff. I don't know enough about 6 other than the guy they used to advertise for it is the guy that I know from Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
So
that is Gustavo.
yeah, my man Gus and his chicken.
Yeah. So, if I could backpedal a little bit to what you just said, can you clarify the Duolingoing of users? What is that?
Duolingoing. It was basically, I just saw headlines of people going into their emails, getting an email from Ubisoft, and the Gus guy, I don't know the actor's name, I'm sorry, but the character he plays in Far Cry 6, there's an image of him and there's a caption saying what's the matter? The game too tough for you? Or something like that.
That's
just
so
pounding players
menacing.
for not finishing the game.
Dang.
How do they know that? So
Well, because it's part of Uplay, so they probably see the last
it's
time you played.
cloud or something.
It's
Okay.
Ubisoft's PC service. I think there's a console version. Maybe there's not. Maybe there is. I don't know enough about this game, evidently. But it's definitely, as far as a PC version goes, it's definitely part of Ubisoft's Uplay, and I think those are the people they were emailing.
Jeez. If I had Gustavo Fring staring me down in my email inbox telling me to play the mission, I think I might.
Yeah.
If that's going to motivate me, I think if out of anything motivate me, that would do it.
I just remembered that was a thing. Yeah, I don't actually know if the game was good. I assume it's at least, like, it's probably not a glitchy mess, you know? I don't recall hearing anything about that. But I don't know if it was good enough to be nominated for Game of the Year, you know? I assume if it was good, it probably will be nominated, because it's a AAA Ubisoft title. Like, they make some pretty strong games, if Assassin's Creed's anything to go by. But I don't know anything more about Far Cry 6. I didn't even know if it was released on multiple systems. I think it was, but, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess to kind of tie that thought up in a bow, my personal vote, if like all things considered, for Game of the Year would probably be either Resident Evil Village or Metroid Dread.
Sure.
Those would be like my
Yeah.
two. Like I would be super excited to see either of those get that kind of recognition. If you had to pick one or two, what would you think, Yoshelli?
I mean, those are basically my two, because those are the first two games I basically said, right? If Monster Hunter Rise gets nominated, like, I'd probably vote for that, because I've at least played that. I enjoyed my time with it. I hadn't played Monster Hunter prior. If something like Super Mario 3D World is nominated, I'll probably vote for it, because I'm a biased person who thinks that game is fantastic, but I don't think it's going to get Game of the Year. I don't think it's going to happen. But those are where my votes would go. You know, I was previously joking saying if Super Monkey Ball got nominated for Game of the Year, I'd vote for it. But it's like, no, I enjoyed that game, but it wasn't the big masterpiece I was hoping it would be. That's like a solid B grade game. So probably Metroid Dread, just because of seeing how happy it made my friends, or Resident Evil. I've always respected the Resident Evil franchise.
Okay. What about you, Trevino? You had to pick one or two.
For Game of the Year, honestly, I can predict like my 6 games I think I will see on Game of the Year, nominee wise. I hope Metroid Dread is there, because let's be honest, it was the huge like shockwave that the series needed, and I think it did really well with the response. So, if a Nintendo game makes it onto Game of the Year, it has to be Metroid Dread. I hope to see a Monster Hunter Rise for, you know, the Capcom rep. Because from what people have been talking about the game online, it's a fun, interactive game with multiple people, and honestly, it looks great. I kind of want to play it, but I have no time.
Yeah.
I can see Resident Evil Village also making the nominee list for Game of the Year, because, again, insanely talked about game and did waves and numbers, so I can see Resident Evil making that list. I want to say possibly Far Cry 6 will also have a chance as well, just because Far Cry is like a big game series, so honestly I wouldn't be surprised. I kind of want to throw a wild card out there and say maybe Tales of Arise has a chance. If not Game of the Year, at least like make it into like best which category is that? Best like is it an RPG?
Yeah.
Or a JRPG?
Yeah.
Then I would see it in best RPG or role playing game category at least. Unfortunately, I expect Call of Duty Vanguard to make Game of the Year nominate as a nominee. Because I'm not a big Call of Duty guy, but unfortunately, I think Jeff is gonna like toss that in.
With all due
the Game of the
fairness,
Year.
Call of Duty always sells well, and I know they're high budget games. Have they ever been in the Game of the Year nominees? I don't remember.
I think
I
don't
know
know
PUBG
actually.
I think-
was, but that's not Call of Duty.
it's not. From what I can tell, no. Sekiro won in 2019. God of War won 2018.
2017 was Breath of the Wild.
Zelda won Breath of the Wild. Zelda won 2016. Overwatch won 2015, and then or 2016. Dragon Age and
So I think you're in the clear.
and The Witcher.
Now,
Okay,
obviously,
yeah, perhaps.
just going off of people I follow on Twitter is still a very narrow view of the gaming industry as a whole. I'm sure Call of Duty is still selling well, but I haven't seen people talk about it compared to, you know, something like Forza, for example.
Sure.
And so
Forza-
when it comes to the Game of the Year nominations, again, if the votes are actually going to count, I think a lot of the people I follow are better to go off of because these are the people that actually are going to watch the Game Awards.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah,
I don't
I
think
guess-
Call
I
of
guess-
Duty
I
would
guess-
win for that reason.
If not Game of the Year, I'm sure it'll be in some other category in some place. But if not, then maybe like Mass Effect or Guilty Gear Strive. That was a big one that people were
That's true.
talking about.
That was a big one, but that the same problem though. Same problem, opposite side. That's a game that I think people really, really liked, but isn't popular enough for people to want to vote for it.
Fair. It could again. It'll probably be in some other category. I honestly can't think of a sixth game otherwise. Maybe like Ratchet and Clank. Honestly, I think Ratchet and Clank is a very good possibility. Like all things considered.
Yeah.
Ratchet and Clank is huge, and it's been around for a very long time. So, I would throw that in there too. If I had to pick a Nintendo game to be nominated in anything, if not Game of the Year, it's not going to win anything, I know, because it's not as popular. I really want to see Ace Attorney Chronicles make some category, but I know it's not going to get nominated in anything, which I'm so sad about. Like, if there's a visual novel category, yes,
If there's a
please.
visual novel category, it's gonna get crushed by Famicom Detective Club.
That's true.
Actually, probably
And
no.
also
Ace Attorney would beat it. Actually,
It would also have to go against Doki Doki as well.
Ace Attorney is probably one of the more famous and well-received visual
Oh,
novel games.
absolutely.
It probably would win, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I think this game would belong in best indie game. I think, but I've seen some really good things about It Takes Two, and I think that'll find its some place in the categories, either like best narrative or best indie game, or
Yeah,
the
probably.
company that made it. So I think I can see It Takes Two being a surprise reveal or being a surprise win somewhere.
So your pick for Game of the Year, you would probably say like Ratchet and Clank.
I'm hoping for Dread for like my personal vote.
All
But
right,
otherwise,
add another
I
one
was-
to Metroid Dread. Got it.
Well, yeah, we're a Nintendo-focused chat here. Like we're
All right. I'm just
Because
saying.
we want Metroid to win. We want Metroid to win.
All right, and then what about you, Metroid Dread? I mean, Amanda.
Metroid.
All right, yeah, that's what I thought. Cool.
What about you, Metroid?
um,
That's awful.
I mean, I'll take it.
So
I've
all
got
right.
my Zero Suit Metroid cosplay.
Let's
If there's a movie, I'm saying.
I'm telling you, if
Cast
there's a movie,
Amanda,
there's only one
Samus.
person that can play Samus, and that person is me. And I will fight. I will literally fight people.
I will
for that
also
we're gonna
role.
have
fight
to
for
fight
that.
Brie Larson because she wants it too.
Okay,
We can take
well,
her.
I can fight her.
Alrighty.
Oh,
Yo, Schiller's
Bro,
got
you
the
you
hype
sound like
too,
you're
so
more ready to play Samus just because of that.
yeah,
Yep.
So
that makes
so what? I'll fight, and if I die, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, there you go. That's something Samus would say.
It's true.
So Game of the Year predictions. Cool. Got that all recorded and put to tape. The last part of our discussion here, and I'll kind of just ask the question and let the conversation go from there. Do we think Breath of the Wild 2 is going to make an appearance at the Game
Yes.
Awards this year? And why do you think that, Amanda?
Because, okay, we haven't seen anything from Breath of the Wild 2 for a while.
Yep.
But they are planning on it coming out in 2022. The last Nintendo Direct, I figured it was either going to be Breath of the Wild 2 or the Smash announcement. It was going to be one of the two, and whichever one didn't get announced at the most recent Direct is going to be shown at the Game Awards, which would have been whichever was the bigger of the two. So Breath of the Wild 2 was definitely the bigger of the two, and they showed the first Breath of the Wild at the Game Awards a few years ago, and I think that's going to be the place for it, especially with it being set to come out in 2022.
God, that's such a weird thought.
and and not to mention they keep assuring that it's coming out in 2022, especially with the latest like roadmap that they tweeted out this week.
Exactly. So it's got to be close to ready. And Nintendo doesn't like to show anything until it gets like, really close to release. So I'm guessing it's going to be sooner rather than later. I'm imagining it's probably going to be the first half of 2022. I hope so, at least.
First half. What?
I think it's going to be the first half. I'm calling it now. First half of 2022, we're going to get Breath of the Wild 2.
Really?
I'm leaning towards the holiday next year.
Holiday next year. Okay.
I mean, either way, 2022 still is like, it's already really close.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
it's gonna be a packed year for Nintendo.
We've talked about this,
Absolutely.
I want to say, on this podcast. We said that Pokemon Legends Arceus is going to be like Nintendo's early year hitter. Splatoon 3 will probably come out in the middle of the year, and then Zelda would come out at the end. And then Kirby, that's probably
Wait
like
a
an April
minute.
game.
Yeah,
it's
no.
probably a March. It's probably a March
Yeah.
game or April.
Yeah, because like if the consensus is that Kirby's going to be like a March or April game, then where would that put Zelda? Like summer?
That's
Or-
why it's got to be. That's why it's got
or-
to be the holiday title.
Well, I'm more
Or
so just
Bayonetta.
thinking of like where would Amanda put it? Because she said first half of 2022.
Well, I had forgotten about Splatoon.
That's fair.
And yeah, that's the main reason.
Also,
I'd forgotten about Splatoon.
Okay.
Yeah, and also don't forget Bayonetta 3.
Yeah, so
That's
Ba-
also
Oh
coming
my
out.
Bayonetta's
God.
probably more like a September, October title.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
by
yeah,
all
for
means.
sure, for sure.
Maybe August.
Yeah, August at the earliest. And then Mario Rabbids. I guess they could kind of launch that whenever.
that one
whatever.
can kind of
Yeah,
do
what-
its own thing.
And then I feel like I'm missing one more big one. Am I?
Yeah. There's a few other ones.
Okay. But
Like like the roadmap is already huge. Like where do you put all these games?
oh, Advance Wars. Advance Wars got pushed to 2022.
Advance Wars.
So that's
Oh, yeah,
that's
that's right, that's right.
probably
It-
that's probably February
Advance
or
Wars is-
March, in my opinion.
It's February. I believe it is
Oh,
February.
okay, cool.
No. Well, no. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but it's spring. I think. Springtime
Got it.
for that one. And then Triangle Strategy is also the one that's coming out.
That's right.
And then Monster Hunter Rise
DLC.
expansion.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, there's so many.
I'm getting stressed. Why am I feeling stressed about video games? This is supposed to be fun.
and get this. This is all. These are just the games we know right now. There's bound to be more. Than
There will be
just-
surprises.
There's going to be a Mario
God.
game next year besides Mario Rabbids, but we don't know what. And there's still that rumored Donkey Kong game.
Oh.
All right, before I have an aneurysm, let's go back to Breath of the Wild 2.
Okay. Yeah, sorry.
so-
Yeah.
What's a safe bet for a game of the year? Or, I'm sorry,
I.
Game Awards, whatever. Nothing says
Game-
celebrating all the games that came out this year, like immediately speculating what's going to come out next year, right? The Game
Yeah,
Awards,
for
everybody.
real.
Yeah, Zelda's probably your safest bet. The only other thing I
Okay.
could see it being besides Zelda is Bayonetta. I don't think they're going to show Kirby there. I don't think they're going to show Splatoon there. I don't think they're going to show Pokemon Legends Arceus there. I think it's probably going to be Zelda or Bayonetta.
Okay. So now that we've got
Yeah.
Yoshiler's answer on the table too, it seems like we're all pretty much in agreement that we probably will be seeing Zelda at some point or another during that Game Awards show. Now the next question would be, what exactly do we see, and do we get the title?
No.
Yes.
We don't get the title.
I think we do get the
So
title.
they haven't wanted to say the title because apparently that's going to give away too much of the plot.
Well, they've got to say it before release, right? The question
Oh.
is,
Yeah,
like,
so I
how-
think they're going to wait until like 2 or 3 months before release. Like as soon as like pre-orders become available, that's when, or actual pre-orders, not just the little placeholder that's on Amazon, but like when we see the box art, that's when we'll get the date.
I think.
All right.
See.
I think
And the title.
This is where we're going to see the title. I'm in complete disagreement. I think
I-
what they're going to do is they're going to be like, hey, we have a new trailer for the upcoming Legend of Zelda game. And then, they're going to show their trailer, doobie 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 doo. They're going to show some new mechanics, and it's going to end. And it's going to have like the big revelation, right? So for the sake of example, I'm not going to say this is exactly how it's going to go. But for the sake of example, the trailer ends, and then, kind of fade in from black. There's Link. He's standing there. And then a Link in a blue costume, a Link in a red costume, and a Link in a purple costume walk up right behind him. And it's like Legend of Zelda, 4 Swords of the Wild. Like that's that type of thing, right?
No.
Whatever the big mechanic is, it's going to be revealed like right there. That's what I'm thinking. Because the other logic is if they don't reveal it here, when you said they do it 2 months beforehand, okay, so if the game is the holiday title next year, that means they'd have to say it in the September or October Nintendo Direct they do around that time, which is fine. But I think they would want to say it now because I think they want to spend next E3, let's say, talking about it.
Well, that's a good point.
Sure.
Especially if
Yeah.
in-person events come back next year.
Or, Amanda, if your theory is true, and it is an early game launch, then that means they'd have to talk about it now anyway so that it could come out in February or March, right?
Okay, that is very true. Yes,
So there's that option, which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
I would not fight that one. I would not complain.
So I think we're going to see it here.
What do you think they're going to show, Amanda?
Bayonetta or Breath of the Wild. The target audience for the Game Awards would definitely be interested in Bayonetta, so I could definitely see that being shown there because that's going to have the older people watching it, which is going to be who's going to play Bayonetta.
Hey, did you just call me old?
I'm old.
I'm older than all y'all. Remember, I'm 35.
All right,
Man.
she said old people. She was just talking about herself. I see.
You're crushing it at 35.
Yeah, for real.
Thanks, guys.
So
I still
continue.
get carded when I buy M-rated games. It's great.
Nice.
Wait, what? That's
And
hilarious.
occasionally people think Dan's my dad.
Oh,
Oh,
crushing it.
Okay, that's kind of
That
funny.
was really funny.
Oh man. All right. So anyway, old people, you're gonna be watching, and then what happens after that?
I mean, I'm going to be screaming during the whole thing. Okay, so if they don't show Breath of the Wild, they are going to show it during E3, or they are going to show it in a Nintendo Direct in February. Because February was when they did the Nintendo Direct for Link's Awakening. In that case, it would either be a holiday or a fall title.
Okay. And you still think that we're not gonna get the title until like September-ish?
I think we will get the title. I don't know when we're going to get the title. I should not be stressing out over this. I think they're not going to give us the title until it gets like a release date. I think when we get a release date, that's when they'll tell us the title.
Okay.
I want to say that they'll give us a window date at the Game Awards after showing off more of the game, like basically like placing it in the range of next year, like spring or summer or fall or holiday.
Yeah.
That's the most new thing I think we'll get. I still think the game will still be untitled by this point.
The untitled Zelda game.
See, honestly, I would like that if they kept. Imagine if they keep that name hidden away for so long. They're like, you know what? I think we should just keep the game called the sequel to Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. It's a pretty nice name, you know.
All right, I got something to throw your way that'll give you guys some anxiety. Because
All right.
what if it's
Oh,
not
Lordy.
called Legend of Zelda? We saw her story already. What if it's
So it's the Legend of Tingle.
well, no,
Got it.
like what's the king's Rome? What if it's like Legend of Rome, or Legend of Ganon, or something like that?
Well, that's kind of a tough sell for me because we've
and
already
that
seen
could
Link
explain
gameplay.
why they don't want to say the title, because it might be a completely different focus off of Zelda.
Was it here on this podcast that we were talking about? I don't remember where I heard it, but it could have been here. Where we've only seen Link gameplay and like the title gives it away. So like the thing that they would give away is that the other half of the game you're playing is Zelda, and it's like almost like a pseudo like two stories being told at once kind of thing.
That's been the common speculation. Yeah.
Okay.
I was talking about this back during E3 as well. Like, what if you switch off between them at times? And funny thing, I was like not paying attention to Metroid as much at the time. So I was saying, what if you're playing a Zelda, and her campaign is you have to escape the underground, and you're running from the undead Ganondorf. And then I had two friends of mine, one of them was Elias, and they both replied back to me saying, so Metroid Dread. I'm like, okay.
Okay,
You
but that
got me.
game was good, so why not?
And because we also have to consider, like, they've also been reporting that this game is going to be a darker turn in the Zelda series, like darker than Majora's Mask. I'm like, what could they be doing with that?
Yeah.
So yeah. So overall, basically what I think we'll see is new gameplay footage, and a window date. I don't think we'll get a name yet. Unfortunately, I want it, but not happening. Otherwise, I would be completely shocked if Zelda is not at the Game Awards at this point.
No, I will be too. That'd be like, I'm pretty sold on the idea that Zelda will be making an appearance in some form or another at some point during that Game Awards presentation, considering Jeff Keighley's past and everything. And as far as what they'll show, like, I don't know. I almost feel fully convinced that we'll get the title at some point too. But
Oh yeah.
I also don't know because of Nintendo's history with revealing this kind of thing. I do think that we'll probably get like a new mechanic or something, or at least a little bit more of explanation about like the time shift, perceivably time shifting thing. I don't even know what that's about, but some more exposition on that I think is a solid bet too.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of time travel involved in this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why Age of Calamity kind of led up to it.
And I would like to know more about it. Thank you.
Me too.
What were you gonna say, Alex?
I was gonna say, like, if we don't get the title here, I do think they'll save it for E3 next year, because I think that's the best time to unveil everything and like get people ready for this game. If it's a holiday game next year.
Yeah.
So yeah.
If it's a holiday game.
But that's basically how I'm betting my cards right now, and like window date at the Game Awards, and then reveal at E3, and then boom, late 2022 game.
Yeah, I think
I'm sticking by that.
I feel like regardless, I mean, no matter what ends up happening and how it ends up playing out, we'll at least be seeing Zelda in, what is it, less than a month now? Which is weird to say.
I really hope so. Yeah. Less than a month now.
No, I'm starting to feel like Amanda, like putting it all on paper and saying it out loud. I'm getting stressed. What the heck?
Yay!
It never used to be this way. I used to get excited about these things. Oh my god.
And now I'm like, oh my god, sweating.
All right. I think that pretty much kind of wraps up our whole Game Awards discussion. Unless anybody else has anything to say before we put a bow on today's show.
I hope we get so many commercial breaks during this Game Award that it's just so obnoxious, and Jeff Keighley's like trying to sell me something. I'm hoping for that.
Nintendo Switch has.
I just want to see the Muppets again.
Yes, the Muppets, please. They were the best part of 2019.
I forgot
Well, you
that
know,
the
Jeff
Muppets
Keighley
were
was
there.
in like the last Muppet movie. He was in.
Oh, yeah,
in the Muppets Haunted Mansion.
was.
Oh my god, he was! Ah!
Everyone likes the Muppets. Yeah, all I want to say about it, I said this earlier. If they're just gonna be like, here's a trailer. Oh yeah, best indie game goes to Skatebird. Trailer. Like, then it really does need a rebranding. I'm gonna watch it. I wanna see what the big deal is. But it just needs a rebranding. That's all. Having Jeff Keighley stare at a camera and just read off 4 awards in a row, it's like, what's the point of flying all these people out here for your award show then? What's the point of flying out, you know, your all your gaming buddies, Reggie and Kojima and whatever, if you're just gonna be like, oh yeah, Kojima, here's your award. Like, what's the point? That's all.
Jeff is just there to, like, you know, have this opportunity to just show up all the future of video games, because he's the video game man.
Yeah, I know. He wants to have that, and he's built that reputation around him. I don't have an issue with him. I have an issue with the advertising of this whole thing. That's all.
There.
That's understandable.
Fair. Like, someone has to pay for this show, and that's what we have right now.
Just call it Keighley Threely, like we said. We're fine.
Keighley Threely.
Key 3. Let's go.
All right. And I think that's going to do it for today's discussion, honestly. So thank you guys, again, so much for joining me today for this month's episode. I really, really appreciate it. I'm going to do my best to make sure that this podcast is run on a monthly basis and gets regularly updated over on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. That way you can listen to these discussions in whichever way you prefer. Anyway, we're pretty much at the end here, but before we go, I wanted to take a second, go around the table one last time, and give each of you 5 seconds to tell us about yourself and where our listeners can find you on the internet. Starting with you, new guy, Trevino. Let's hear it.
Oh, shoot, I'm up. Hello, you can find me at Trainer Trevino on Twitter or on Zelda Universe TV on YouTube. That's pretty much where I do my videos mostly at. Or yeah, that's I do other videos otherwhere, but like that's other people's work, not mine. So find me on Twitter at Trainer Trevino.
Awesome. Yo Schiller?
Okay, you said I only have 5 seconds?
Only 5 seconds.
I don't know if I can provide all my information in 5 seconds. I mean, what could I possibly say in Oh, it's been 5 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
I guess we'll
Actual
never know.
outro. Okay. Hello, humans, or goodbye, humans. I'm Yo Schiller. I wear a Yoshi hat. You can find me on youtube.com/YoSchiller. And if you go on Twitter, I'm real Yo Schiller. The one with the Yoshi hat. That's me. I'm Yo Schiller.
Yeah.
I do videos
Not the
every
fake
single day.
Woo! Amanda.
You can find me on Twitter at Amanda Van Heil. You can find me on Twitch at Panda Princessa. I'm on Zelda Universe TV, the YouTube channel where I host Zelda news, and then I host the Shine Sparkers podcast. And I have 3 cats, and they're adorable, and they show up all over the place on all the videos. And then I just show up at places too.
They show up on your streams too sometimes.
Yeah, they do. They just come in and they're like, "Hey, what's up?"
Yeah, they just show up at places. Even I turned around once and I was like, why is Amanda's cat here?
Well, Tasha snuck out today, and she was outside for 3 hours, and we didn't know it.
What the?
Oh,
How did
God.
you... Wait, if you didn't know it, then how did you know she was outside for 3 hours?
Because we came, so it was right before we left for Tai Chi and Kung Fu class this morning, and then we came home, and Dan looked out on the back porch, and at first he thought it was Baby Mama, which is the neighborhood stray cat, and I was like, wait a second, that's Tasha, just sitting on the back porch. She's just like, oh, what am I doing out here?
Baby mom... There was a lot. That's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
Well, and with that, that concludes our discussion. So, once again, if you're still watching or listening, thank you for making it this far, and I look forward to hearing you guys' thoughts in the comments below, or our Discord. We get a lot of feedback from there as well. So, we'll be back next month for some more discussion, but for now, there's only one thing left to say before we take off, and that is, of course, as always, I'm Alec and Stuff, and I will see you all again real soon. Bye!